Welcome everyone back to another episode of Time for Mental Health. Time for Mental Health is a podcast where we aim to normalize the sharing of mental health experiences. Join with me today, we have Viaano, founder of Huddle Humans, Keegan, producer of the show, and I'm your host, Fabian. And today, as you can see from the title, we'll be talking about misophonia. So we'll cover things like what is misophonia, how do we cope with it, what are the things that people with misophonia may face, and also what they may not want to hear, coming from a personal experience. Yeah. Stay tuned to find out more. I think I have misophonia. Yeah, and if it's correct, like what the definition says on the internet again.
Is it something that like you need a professional to diagnose you with, or it's just you read the symptoms online?
I just read the symptoms online, but I think mine's pretty severe and it's really, very, very similar.
Is it diagnosable?
That I'm not sure, but I know it's not in the DSM-5 and also not in the ICD. So the DSM-5, just to keep it short, DSM-5, the Diagnostic Statistics Manual, 5th edition, right? Yeah. And the ICD is some internal control disease thingy by the WHO. Yeah.
Interesting. So when did you first discover that you had misophonia?
That's
or if you could recall from a while back.
That's actually a very good question. I've thought about it and honestly, I don't remember the time where I actually felt this. So what happens in the misophonia, when I'm exposed to these sounds, and I get emotionally charged, when I get angry or that kind of stuff, Yeah. So
like what kind of sounds?
For example, sounds can be like chewing or stirring of the cup with a metal spoon, some scraping, some of them scraping plates. Yeah, some saliva sounds, The worst ones for me are like sniffing and like saliva sounds. Yeah, they really, I get really angry. Like I really get pissed off, like to the point that I want to punch the person's face.
From my knowledge, from what I've heard, misophonia is actually a Greek word for
hatred of sound.
Hatred of sound. So what is it? The certain sounds, the wavelengths, the decibels?
I have no idea. But
it's just the way. I don't know.
So you can't stand like ASMR and.
Have you?
I hate them.
You hate them.
Misophonia.
Obviously. What's ASMR? I've heard of it, but I've never really.
I can't remember what the acronym stands for. But it's basically like some people hear sounds and it's the opposite actually.
They
hear
it
and they feel like they feel good, or it makes them feel like tingly or something.
Is it certain sounds or people talking, or it's just like certain actions, or
it's like just sounds of people whispering in the ear and stuff,
or like eating. I've heard that one's quite a big one, right?
It affects my life in like a lot of ways. So actually I brought paper here so that we can actually go through in depth.
Nice.
Like the ways it affects my life. So firstly, I'll just name a few: travel, outings, relationship, family, sleep, even work. Sometimes when I work, I have to do some video editing, right? And hearing these things, sometimes I work 30 minutes and I have to take breaks for like 1 hour just to reduce that meter. Yeah. And YouTube videos, as what Viaano and Keegan mentioned, some of them have the sounds as well, and I have to avoid the videos, completely avoid them, or I have to do some things to alleviate the anger. And another crucial thing that I don't think a lot of people without misophonia would know, but I think those with would know, is taking exams. When you sit down for exams, in the cold place, they come in the jackets, everybody's sitting down and they do that. It's just, it's a nightmare. You can't move out of the place. You're just stuck there,
Imagine how many people beside you taking exams. And you hear all this sniffing.
Yeah.
Oh, people clicking their pants.
Thankfully for me, it doesn't anger me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. So what was like, do you have any like very drastic experience where like you couldn't hold back due to this misophonia and stuff?
So this is something that I've never shared with you guys before. So I have a friend. You guys know. I'll tell you the name after after the show.
Four letter word.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Five. Oh, okay. 5.
I know who it is.
Okay, so basically, me, him, and another person, we went on a Taiwan trip together, right? So I mean, I've known him as long time as a friend, and he does a lot of clicking sounds with his mouth. That I mean, he's a great friend, but sometimes I cannot meet up with him like every week on the go, because it's just every time I see him and when he starts speaking, it makes me angry. Unfortunately, I it's damn sad. Yeah.
Wait, why is so sad?
I mean, it's sad, right? I mean,
As in, why is his tone of voice or that clicking?
yeah. So
thing?
how he does it every time he talks, right?
Yeah.
He'll do like yeah.
Okay, I
Every
understand.
single sentence, there's this click at the front.
It's
Okay.
it's kind of like became like inherent, really. Like a natural characteristic because you've done it for so long, really.
Yeah.
So it becomes like a natural way of speaking for him. It's not like he's doing it on purpose, right?
So as I got on the train, right, then I started to realize that, oh my god, I'm spending the whole day with him, like doing this, Then I told him politely, because I was getting angry. Then I told him politely, like, hey, I would like you to not do this sound and everything. And his response was like, he just laughed and he just continued doing it, So I was like, oh man, in the train, I want to punch his face, but I can't, he's a friend, so there's boundaries, and you respect him and you understand that he doesn't get angry at this. This is like a funny thing to him. So I mean, I got so emotionally charged. I couldn't really see anywhere. So I was like, I actually cried in the train. And I moved to another carriage. And my friends was like, oh, I think we took it too far. So I think throughout the trip, he was a little bit more observant, and he was a little bit more like, I'll say, self-reflective of that. I mean,
Yeah, as in until now he's still.
No lah.
Oh,
he probably forgot about it.
So it's like this guy one.
Yeah. I mean, I have to tell him from time to time. But I mean, to me, when I think of this misophonia, right, to them, it's no big issue.
Is it because like misophonia isn't very common?
I think even if it's common or not, it's just
You're still putting yourself in the other person's shoe and actually remembering.
It is, but I mean, like, how many people don't even know like such a thing exists, So,
True.
That means that more awareness is needed.
Definitely, because it's always just being considerate of others, And the reason why his friend like laughed, right? Because like the first time I hear this kind of thing, I probably would have laughed as well. Because
he did laugh last week, so
I mean,
because you never.
I'm not making fun of him, but it just sounds quite like like such a small thing that means nothing to me, right?
It's a trivial thing
can actually mean so much to someone else.
Yeah.
So at first, because we always joke around with each other, right? So at first I thought like, oh, maybe he's just like joking with me, just kidding around. But then after he told me like, oh no, he's like really like a serious like thing for him. Then you start to realize, oh, like there's so much things about other people that you don't know about.
I'll share another experience of myself. So because when we say outings, right, like when I go cinemas, I only watch movies at night because it's impossible to watch movies. Like it's completely distracting. So what happens is when you hear that sound, right, even if it's from this side or that side, like your attention will just divert to the person who is chewing or sniffing, and you just cannot focus anymore. You just lost focus, So that's the worst part about it, I think.
Surround sound.
And even in relationships, like I had in the past, I had a girl tell me that she knows of this thing, and she would sit further away just to eat, and that felt really bad.
That's terrible. That's terrible. But sometimes it's also very hard on both ends because for the person, maybe he don't understand what the person is going through if that person doesn't even say it. Right? So recounting back to the experience you had in your Taiwan trip, it was actually good that you you couldn't tolerate it anymore, right? So you told your friend that it's affecting you, and that was a good thing to do because your friend wouldn't have known if you did not say it, right?
Exactly.
Because I mean, how many people know about misophonia, right? And then but I think on his end, I think he should. Usually in these kind of experiences, you should put yourself in other person's shoe. I mean, something like what Keegan mentioned, right? Something that may seem so trivial to us is actually a huge thing of significance to the other party that may cause that person, to feel stressed or some sort of So just a question. How do you cope with misophonia actually? Like,
Well, that's a good question. I think if the audience know, like if the audience have misophonia and they would like to share, just drop in the comments how you cope with misophonia. Because honestly, I don't think that I have like a coping thing. So the main idea for me is just to leave the space. So if there's a sound and if I can avoid it, I avoid it. You know? Yeah. Because it's that bad when I sleep. Like sometimes I sleep when you get to the light sleep phase. When someone outside my house, I'm outside in the living room, start sniffing, boom, I can't sleep anymore. You know? Yeah. So I instantly wake up. Yeah. So some of the things that I do, I think I mentioned earlier. Like when you play YouTube videos and you have these clicky sounds that you don't like, you can actually play like white noise at the background. You know? And that kind of like
levels it.
I don't know how it works, but it does work.
Overpowers
Takes it out
the
of the
clicking
equation.
sound.
Yeah, and another way that I've mentioned already is to politely tell the person, but you have to keep in mind always that it's a trivial thing for others, and they don't know what this is, and only you know, and only you get angry about it. So you gotta come from their shoes and try to explain it to them in a very polite manner. You know, it's affecting me, and maybe if you like, maybe I can go to another space first or something like that.
And I think we also should come from our shoes to understand also. It's a two-way thing, right? Yeah.
When you tell people about your like this condition, right, what kind of reactions do you get that like you found like off-putting, you know? That you didn't like?
I know this, like my response can be coming from a little bit of a selfish standpoint or something like that, right? Firstly, I mean nobody likes it when you share something so deep and they laugh at it. You know, they laugh at you.
That's true. That's true,
right? Or they just ignore. You know, sometimes I get like people will just ignore, and that's how it is. I mean, life is such. To put it in a very plain way. Another one that I would not like people to do is they purposely go and do more of the actions, because sometimes when I explain to them, I will give examples. You know,
correct.
And they do more of it, and it's just.
They do the opposite of what you.
Because they still think it's a joke. That's why.
So they go more. That's a kind of like a more of like a immature sort of thing.
Yeah, but I would think that's quite a common reaction that you will get when you mention this kind of thing.
I mean, those like secondary school, high school kind of phase, you kind of encounter more of that. But usually as a young adult usually it was. I mean, it still can happen, but
you'll be
that's
surprised.
kind of what I'm trying to say is like more of like a I agree. But what I'm trying to say is like it's an immature sort of thinking. But it does happen, of course, and it's terrible. Yeah, to do something, you know, more when the other person obviously said, you know, it's hurting them. So it's
and maybe for me, right, like just to end off this episode, I would like to say a few points about those who have misophonia. And I think for those who have misophonia, must understand the fact that we are the only ones getting emotionally charged from these sounds. You know, I've spoken to a lot of people and asked them why they don't feel it. They just don't feel it. You know, it's just a trivial thing to them. And so when you're coming from a standpoint where you had enough of the hearing aid sound, and you want to tell to that person, the other person, that you gotta come to us from a point that you have to be polite and not angry. You know, because the other person has done nothing wrong. You know. You really done nothing wrong. You are the only one that's like inside angry. But you gotta like calm yourself down and really face the matter like a
more composed.
Yes, more
mature,
composed.
I don't know.
More composed, I guess.
More composed, sort of. You know. Yeah.
So if any of you viewers have misophonia and would like to share your comments on how you cope or how you any experiences in the past, do put them down in the comments below.
Yeah, please do. This is actually a very interesting.
Yeah, I would like to hear more also, because I really, all I put is white noise. Oh, last thing I want to put is I always have an everyday carry.
Yeah.
Earpiece or earplugs everywhere I go.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Wait, one question also. Do you have any friends who have misophonia, or is it just you?
That's an interesting question. I've had one instance where someone actually told me that they disliked the scraping of the plate when I was eating. And then I was like, instantly I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I answered the way that I would like to hear from a person answer. So I said, I'm sorry. Would you like me to? I'll stop doing it. Would you like me to sit further away or something like that. Yeah. Then he was like, okay, no. He was like, oh, did I come off too rude or something like that? I said, no. If you don't like it, I'll try to.
Great. Anyone in your social circle, friends, family, have misophonia? Or said that they have misophonia before? Just quick question.
No, what I know.
Interesting. Yeah. So it's an interesting question because if any one of you, in the community has misophonia, just drop a comment down, share your experience. I think, this is a platform where we can talk about anything and everything. So, go for it.
And with that, we've come to the end of our episode. Time for mental health. Do follow us on YouTube, Twitter. I've been saying so many times already. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok,
everything.
Everything. See you guys in the next episode. Ciao.
See ya.
Bye.
Take it.